Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at one of the many different warbands in Age of Sigmar Warcry. We're going to take a look at all the fighters available to this warband, what they do on the tabletop, the abilities the warband has, and how to build a foursome on the tabletop as well. Along with this we'll look at some interesting ally options as well for the warband. In today's video we are going to focus on the Pyregheists, blazing souls of priest, grave robbers and the faithful. Today's video is sponsored by Gap Games, a fantastic miniature wargaming store in Queensland, Australia. They stock a wide variety of miniature wargames from all things Games Workshop to some of my personal favourites, Conquest of the Last Argument of Kings, and all things Modifius wargames as well. Use our affiliate code in the link below to help support both this fantastic store and the channel as well. The Pyregheists are interesting in the fact that they have no warband specific reaction. Instead, they have an ability called Balefire Cremation. When an ability tells you to cremate a fighter, after removing that fighter from the battlefield, you need to place a Pyre token where they were. At the end of each turn, after determining control of the objective markers, you can deal damage to all enemy fighters within an inch of the marker. Fan the Flames. This ability for a double is available to all fighters in the warband and allows you to add 1 damage to all hits and critical hits from the next attack action from that fighter. Pyre Robber's Curse is a double ability available to any fighter with the Frenzied Rune mark. It will first of all add +1 strength to any attack actions made by the fighter this activation, but will also add the ability to cremate an enemy fighter if you take them down with any of your attacks. Unblinking Guardian. For a double, any fighter with the Elite rune mark can add 1 to the toughness of any friendly fighters with the Elite or Hero rune mark while within 3 inch of the fighter that uses this ability. Light the Pyre is a triple, and this just simply allows you to cremate an enemy fighter that you've taken down with any of your fighters. Soul Blaze is a triple and can only be used by your leader rune marked fighter for the Pyregheists. This has the ability to be used after an enemy fighter has been taken down. You can pick a number of friendly Pyregeist rune mark models visible to your fighter that is using this ability, equal to half the value of the ability, and then they get to make a free move or attack action, and you can choose whether you want to move and attack for each one, so you can do different ones. Agonizing Penance is the last one, and this quad ability is available to all fighters. It allows you to pick a nearby enemy, move that fighter towards the closest other enemy a number of inches equal to the value of the ability, and then deal damage to all enemy fighters within 3 inch, including the fighter that you moved. Now, if any fighters are taken down by this ability as well, you automatically cremate them as well. The Deacon of Flames is a leader option for the warband, and as such has the leader hero rune mark. Like all models in the warband as well, it has the fly rune mark, and you have 2 alternate weapon options for this fighter. Regardless of choice, you will get a ranged attack with 2 attacks at a strength of 4 that can deal 2 damage with a critical damage of 4. The Deacon of Flames with Brazier Staff is the first of our 2 weapon options for the Deacon. This will give you the most attacks for the Deacon, but also the highest critical damage value of 5 as well. The Deacon of Flames with Pyre Keeper Tongs, however, will get you 1 less attack with the Brazier Staff, but it will give you an extra point of strength, that all-important strength 5, and a more consistent damage value of a base 3, but with a critical damage of 4, not 5. Next up are 2 Balefire Guard. These warriors with the Elite rune mark have access to a really fun ability that allows you to not only protect each other with it, but also any of your leaders with the Unblinking Guardians ability. This ability can also take all of the mentioned fighters there to a solid defense of 6, which is really nice. Now, they do have 2 weapon options, and the first of them being the Balefire Guard with Flaming Halberds. This weapon gives the fighters a nice strength of 5, something you definitely want some of in your warband, but also a nice 2 inch range as well. The Balefire Guard with Scorch Flail is the alternate option. Now, you will drop both your range and strength by 1 with these, so you'll be a 1 inch range and strength 4, but you will gain an extra attack instead, and these cost the same points. Next up are the Torch Wraiths. There's no variation in the equipment you can give these fighters. You get 3 of them inside the box set, but they have the Frenzied Rune mark, which will give them access to the Pyre Robber's Curse ability, which can increase both their ranged and melee attacks to a solid strength of 4. They also have a nice defense of 4 as well. Flame Wraiths are the cheapest fighters available to the Warband, with both weapon options coming in at 100 points. They have a nice solid defense of 4 and 12 wounds, so fairly decent for the price. The first of our two Flame Wraith weapon options is the Brazier Staff. This fighter will have a pretty meager damage, doing just 1 with a regular hit, but will have a solid critical damage value of 4. To go with this as well, they will have a 2-inch range on the weapon. Meanwhile, Flame Wraiths with Balefire Torches, you'll have a critical damage value lowered to 3, and you only have a 1-inch range, but you will gain an extra attack over the Brazier Staff option. First up, for an interesting ally option, we're going to have a look at the Guardian of Souls. A solid character with a defense of 4 and 20 wounds, pretty standard there for Nighthaunt, and a nice short range but powerful ranged attack as well, pretty standard for wizards. The big reason you're taking this model though is the mystic rune mark it has, which will give it access to a Nighthaunt triple called Unholy Light. We can heal all nearby Nighthaunt models. Now the Dreadblade Harrow as well is another fighter we can look at. Something the Pyregheists do lack is speed. Their warband is slow. Despite having the fly rune mark on everything in the warband, they are only movement 4. The Dreadblade Harrow will give you a fast movement 10 fighter, and a solid fighter at that, but also an ability called Phantasmal Discorporation to freely teleport around the battlefield for a triple. Lastly, just looking for some straight up damage to add, I think the Tomb Banshee is an interesting one that can certainly provide. The Destroyer rune mark this model has means it will be allowed to use a triple ability called Frightful Touch, which will allow all regular hits with melee attacks instead to be counted as critical hits instead, which can be pretty nasty. With all the options in the box for me, a final list looks a little bit something like this. I like the Deacon with the Pyrekeeper Tongs, having strength of 5 in a warband is a must for me, and the Balefire Guard then as well have gone for halberds, not only for that strength of 5, but also for the extra reach, which can really help with the slow movement of your force. That extra inch can be all the difference. Now you've then obviously got the 3 Torch Wraiths, and they are what they are, and lastly both Flame Wraiths have gone for the Brazier Staffs, once again for the extra reach. That extra inch can be so vitally important. If we're looking at disposition for the warband when splitting into 3 battle groups, I'd look at something like this. Battle Group 1 consisting of the Deacon of Flames with Pyrekeeper Tongs and the 2 Balefire Guard with Flaming Halberds. I think they're the most important to stick together, they can all buff each other. Battle Group 2, 2 Torch Wraiths and a Flame Wraith with Brazier Staff. And then Battle Group 3 with another Torch Wraith and the other Flame Wraith with Brazier Staff as well. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry, and that I was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below and we'll endeavour to get back to you. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and join our Discord server as well, linked in the video's description, for all our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry content.